sir,
sitting
you are
MP.
trying to push a narrative.
No.
That,
So why
yes.
the sitting MP? The question to you then. The sitting MP refused to take down Delroy with Joel Williams on WhatsApp. Mike Henry and Joel sit down up there. He said not support nobody else. The sitting MP totally disagree with the nomination.
I think that this is that I think that this information.
Well, you know you're true to not have problem.
If it was as you are saying to me, voice.
Well,
then it would make news, and I
news?
Think that in terms of it would we are weeks out of the election, you know. By the way, hold on there, Rick.
We don't want good evening, neighbor, Tari, Josh. You see that guy down there? Josh. The voice of the nation. You see that guy down there? I told him already, you know.
Huh?
Tell Casey. All right, good. Hold on, before we cannot talk.
No, I'm not saying anything, but I do not.
So why have you put so much people up here for me?
I do not.
Nobody. Listen to Master. Stop right there, so. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I told you, you know. Already say you're like a person. You're coming. Listening to you, you know, is like pulling tooth without cocaine, you know. You have to say that to you. And this thing, when you come and go say, nobody don't want Audrey Marks at Northwest Manchester. She's actually in Northeast Manchester. And that is so far from the truth. If you are coming here to spread a line, which I expect better than that from you, come with something with more logic, no man. Don't come here, come talk about nobody no want. You're not even a supporter of the Labour Party again. You come and you just muddy the waters. Don't do that, man. Go and spread the joy of the PNP where you're joining, brother. We are here
so
with the personality attack. Stop it, man. It's unbecoming of a grown man.
The Shaw said it would be detrimental not to recommend this sidebar that work with him peers. How the Prime Minister step over the
Sir, don't come here with that. I don't agree with
Voice
you.
of the nation, with all due respect, the two contenders for the Northeast Manchester seat have come together and back Audrey Marks. That is number one.
Audley Shaw don't support Audrey Marks.
Categorically speaking, if Audley Shaw does not support Audrey Marks, Audley Shaw can come and tell us that he does not support.
Then you know said already.
But
unfortunately, guys, I'm running behind with the forecast, so I'm gonna have to go.
Run with the program. Hello, maybe I'll catch up on next time. But every time we bring
I'd like to catch up.
No, sir, you are pushing.
Let me know when you're on. Let me
Let me tell you what we have on. Hello.
No. Just send me the information. Send it to me. Send it to me.
Send the link, man.
All right. Do you think I'll just give you the box? Big up yourself. Gary, Jamaica girl, Josh. Big up.
You know when you know a man, when you know a man is not interested in the truth.
Yep.
Is when the man keeps making absolutes. You know what they call absolute, generalized absolutes? Nobody no want. That can't be true, man. Nobody no want. You can say that, a percentage, or my understanding is that a number of persons are unhappy with a particular person, but don't say nobody no want. That is you wanting people to believe your lie. Anyhow you see a person start speaking with absolutes meaning everybody wants.
Yeah. It's a hasty generalization.
That man is a propagandist. yeah Joshua, what's on your mind?
Evening. I mean, I've just been listening, but I was I had something to point out regarding the story about the babies, right?
Yes.
And I was just saying that one of the things that people must put into account,
all right, Rick.
Like the news media outlets as well as politicians, what they do sometimes is leave out data, right? And then the kind of twist, whatever headline is left without the data, because remember, babies, babies die in hospitals of different reasons and nature, right? And what one thing with data that you must understand is that whenever there's a spike in the original number or quantity of an event, right, the anomalies or the different scenarios will increase as well. Right, so say for instance,
you have to break that down a little for the you have to break that down a little, Joshua.
Right. So say for instance, you had 100 babies being born every day, and there was a variance or a discrepancy of probably 10 babies. Nah, not so much. 2 babies dying per day, right? If you have a day that, you know, or a period of time where that average goes up to 200, then there's an expectation that the anomalies and the discrepancies will increase as well, right?
Yes.
And I was listening out to hear if there was anything behind it to say, well, there was a virus or anything of that sort, and that wasn't said. But what was left out is the actual data point to say, you know, what is really causing those deaths, right? And what was the average before? What was the normal before? Because babies dying in hospital is nothing new, right? But
babies literally die every day in hospitals, right?
Every day, right?
Yes.
So I'm saying that a lot of these politicians sometimes they twist the lack of data or the lack of information to their benefit, right? To kind of push a specific agenda.
Yes.
Right? And it's just something that we must note, you know, as people of reason or people who try to reason, you know, and understand, and not just jump to conclusions. That was just what I wanted to add to Tari's you know, reasoning earlier.
Well, that is great. That is absolutely great. But this becomes even more fundamental, Joshua, or important in a country where the citizens do not really read. They don't go after data. They just capture headlines and run with it.
And that's why it's said in the first place. I mean, I'm sure whoever said certain things, if they knew that the population was of such where it would have been rebutted with proper reasoning, then, you know, it wouldn't have been said, because it would definitely not play out in their favor, right? But as we always say, we are a population that loves to run with excitement and headlines and, you know, chaos and controversy, right? And that is what really sells to the population. So that is what you know is going to be said to kind of push up a spark. But again, I agree with Tari's acknowledgement that is, you know, we shouldn't be trying to you know, run with certain headlines, you know, just because of politics, because it's really insensitive to those mothers who actually, you know, lost their babies and actually feel some type of way about it, you know.
And this has nothing to do with anything at the hospital or government.
No, I mean, unless there is additional evidence or facts to prove that, you know, there's something going on, and, you know, there was some ball that was dropped, then no. You know, it's something that happens every day. You know, we just need the data to understand how far is this from the norm. Like, is it that we normally have 2 babies dying and now we have 10 per day? What is going on, right? All of that information was left out. And I'm just saying, as people of reasoning, those are the questions that we should ask.
Yeah, but stillbirth is wouldn't have anything really to do with, because isn't stillbirth mothers who are about 20 weeks to 28 weeks pregnant?
Right. So even in that case, I mean, well, you can. It's a lot of factors going on, because remember, I said we are not necessarily a very educated population. So I'm sure the hospitals have certain programs or procedures in place to educate the mothers, or, you know, to kind of guide them through pregnancies, right? Or even just you know, whatever procedure they need to go through during their pregnancy, right? So I mean, we have to know what happened, right? If there was a gap or a ball that was dropped, we needed to do the investigation and come back and say, boy, these mothers, you know, probably they were you know, mothers who were smoking or something, but we don't know the facts. Is my point, right? There's no facts to support the statement.
Yeah, and I guess in that case, what we do is trust the medical professionals and not the politicians.
Correct.
Yes. Don't listen to politicians. Listen to what the people at the hospital say. Trust the professionals.
Right. Correct. Because I mean, in data you will understand that there are anomalies. I mean, anomalies in data is like a natural occurring thing. You know, you're going to have some days that the data doesn't follow any trend. You know, some days there might be a spike in a specific scenario, and it just cannot be explained. It's just natural, right? So you have to rely on what the professionals say about it. Is there a specific cause for this?
All right, thank you, Joshua. Maybe you can join us back later, but we have to go to the constituencies now.
Cool.
Tari, stay online. Own boss, Casey. Who is winning the election? Is there any movements in the seat count from last week? I promise you that I'm going to do this correlation between standard of living and cost of living. Here, I'm going to do a session on that. The whole matter of cost of living versus standard of living. Because I don't know if you know that there are people with lesser income that have a better standard of living than people with higher income. So for example, if you're a drinker, you drink rum and smoke a lot of weed, and every night you're there back road, you're not likely to have a high standard living, you know. Or you take drugs. So a man with $80,000 income can have a higher standard of living than a man with $1 million income. Do you know that? So a gambler, for example, who earns $100,000 a week can have a very poor standard of living. As a matter of fact, a man working $1 million a month can live in filth, and a man working $16,000 a week can live better than a man with $1 million. So standard of living and cost of living are different. And as I said last night, part of the challenge is that we want government to fund our standard of living. And your standard of living is your personal responsibility. Anyway, we're going to get back to that. Yeah, a man with a lot of baby mothers. 7 Picnic Road, and you have to mind all of them. You're going to complain about the cost of living, but it's not the cost of living that is giving you a problem. It is your standard of living. And so we have to teach financial literacy if we are going to. And you know, government gets a lot of blame. Government gets a lot of blame because people set their standard of living and they expect government to fund that. Did you know, for example, that if you should increase the minimum wage by 20, let's say you put the minimum wage at $25,000, do you think that will increase people's standard of living? Incidentally, did you know that to do that would come with some amount of inflation? Because higher wages drives up inflation. Because when you have more money, it has to be backed by productivity. In other words, when there is too much money chasing after too few goods, then the cost of the goods go up. That's why back roads are cheap. Too much people around there. So if there were only a few girls at back road, the price would go up. But because there are a lot of girls, the price of it go down because it's too much. So tomato is now $100 a pound. Why? It's price elasticity. It's supply and demand. So if you have a lot of money in the economy, then the man who sells things will put the price up because there is too much money chasing too few goods. So it's a delicate balance. You hear?
It is.
Casey, are you ready now?
Yes, neighbor. Good night.
Good afternoon. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Well, boy, I'm tired. I've been talking too much because you have not. I've been waiting on you. How are you doing?
Okay, here.
All right, sir. Where do we go tonight? Labour Party seats? 12? Labour Party seats?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. All right, listeners. So, with the general elections weeks away, Monday we gave you the... Tari, are you here? Tari?
Yes, neighbor, I'm still here.
I'm going to ask you to take notes for me, please. I think Jamaica girl said she gave you, and you're going to do the reviews for me, okay? So when we ask you to do the reviews, I think Jamaica girl said she gave you a sheet.
Let me check on that. I don't see any sheet, but I will ask her.
Okay.
Sorry, just get a pen and piece of paper, bro. Good night.
All right, so what we have done is both parties are starting the election with what we call safe seats. These seats are not likely to be won by the opposing party. We gave you the PNP's safe seats on Monday. We're going to give you the seats, the safest seats for the Jamaica Labour Party. And then we will pitch that on Monday to the seats that are leaning PNP and the seats that are leaning JLP. Okay, so tonight you're going to get the seats that are safe. In other words, we are more than 90% sure that the Labour Party will win these following seats. We're going to come to that at 7:45 in 1 minute. Stay tuned. Okay, so on Monday we told you the safe PNP seats. Tonight we're giving you the safe JLP seats. On Monday, seats leaning PNP and JLP. By Thursday of next week, we should be able to tell you how many seats both parties have locked up in this 2020 election weeks away. Casey, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, great. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, so you've requested the safe seat for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes.
And these are the seats that were 90%, at least 90% sure that the JLP.
Let me repeat that for the listeners. So listeners, Politics Plus, 90% saying that the party will not lose these seats or will retain them. At least 90%. They're going into the elections. And these seats, we call those for the PNP on Monday. We're now calling the seats. 90% we are at that the party will not lose these seats. Right, Casey?
Definitely.
Casey. Yeah,
yes,
question, Casey. So we're saying that regardless of if there is a massive PNP swing, the party will not lose these.
No,
okay.
Will not.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, so tonight we're not starting from the east, we're not starting from the west. We're starting in central Jamaica. And the safest seat for the JLP in central Jamaica is central Clarendon.
Central Clarendon.
Yes. I wanted to start there.
Go ahead.
Because I heard Voice of the Nation.
Yes.
Yes. So we're starting in Clarendon and central Clarendon. Delroy Feder Williams will retain this seat for the JLP.
Central Clarendon is a safe JLP seat. 90% sure that this seat will not flip in the upcoming election.
Yes.
Central Clarendon is the first safe seat for the Jamaica Labour Party. The Jamaica Labour Party will win Central Clarendon.
Yes. Another in central Clarendon is North Central. Clarendon North Central, Robert Nesta Morgan, Minister of Works, will not lose this seat. The JLP will not lose this one. This one will not flip. Clarendon
The Jamaica Labour Party is expected to retain Clarendon North Central, represented by the current member of Parliament, Robert Morgan. North Central Clarendon is a safe JLP seat. Yes, Casey?
Yes. And in Clarendon Southeast, we have Pernell Charles Jr. I gather that he's having some trouble there with his core support. Some Labourites aren't happy for
let me ask you something, Casey.
Yes.
Nesta, wait, not Central with Central for me. Which one is safer?
I would say Central Clarendon.
All right. So how safe is North Central though, in terms of, because what we are doing here now is telling the listeners the seats that the Jamaica Labour Party will really not lose. In other words, the MPs in these seats can go over to other constituencies and give them.
North Central would have just made the 90%.
North Central is that safe?
Yes.
It
will not give you it will not give you the numbers in margin, but it's not margin win elections, neighbor.
Give me in 2 minutes. What is the Jamaica Labour Party's history of that constituency? They have won it often?
Yes, neighbor. They have won it more often than not. I think they lost it twice in the 90s. They haven't lost it since.
We just lost Casey's volume.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah. I'm asking you if you could give me the history of that constituency. By the way, is the minister online? I think it would be nice to talk to the minister about North Central. Mr. Morgan, how is your seat so safe, sir? 90%? Wow. Nestor, I didn't know that Nestor's seat was a safe Jamaica Labour Party seat.
I just share the life to him. Oh, here he is.
Minister Morgan? Why I tell you something?
Hello.
Yes, Minister Morgan?
Yes, I can hear me.
I am hearing you, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. You are okay? Doing all right? We're having a little bit of difficulty with the audio coming from the minister. I hope we can sort this out. We have online the Minister of Works.
Can you hear me now?
I can, Minister Sparks. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How is everything?
Minister, this evening we are doing the seats. On Monday we did the safe PNP seats. Tonight we are doing the safe JLP seats. In other words, we are looking at seats that the Labour Party are the forecaster we have on is saying that 90%, and then he tells me that your seat is a safe Labour Party seat. I didn't know that, sir. What you doing over there in North Central that has locked in this seat for the Labour Party?
Well, I mean, I don't try to predict the elections, and I just know that on election day we are going to do the work to bring home North Central to the column of the Jamaica Labour Party. I mean, we have spent the last 4.5 years really cementing the work. We've had some challenges, as everyone would know, but we have come back together very strongly. We have a very strong worker core. We have very, very experienced veterans in our midst, councillors, former councillors. And we're very united in North Central right now. And I think the most important thing in building a strong seat is unity. We have the unity, and I think the majority of people in North Central appreciate the work that we've been doing. They've seen the work that we have done. And we're building on the legacy of Broderick, we're building on the legacy of Dunkley, we're building on the legacy of Thomas Sangster.
Yes.
And we're building on the legacy of Colonel Charles.
What a legacy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, since as you are safe,
I'm not going to talk about any other seats in us. We'll hang up the phone, so just know that I won't speak about any other constituency other than my own.
Yeah, but you're a minister. You're a minister of government, and therefore I'm sure you wouldn't mind fielding some questions as to how the party is positioning itself to win a third term. What are the party's chances, Minister Morgan? I see where you were a former Minister of Information. You may not want to comment directly on the recent poll, which I don't know. Earlier, I suggested to my listeners that there were more positives in the Anderson poll for the Jamaica Labour Party than for the People's National Party. Is how you look at it. But do you have a view on that poll, Mr. Morgan?
I don't really watch polls, I just watch the elections. At the end of the day, going around the country as part of my duty as Minister with Responsibility for Works, I see an enthusiasm, and I said it to a friend the other day, Jamaica is not ready to get rid of the JLP yet, because people don't vote in opposition, they vote out governments. And I don't feel like I did in 2011 or like I did in 2007 that Jamaica is ready to vote out their government. I think that the Prime Minister has done an amazing job in terms of articulating a vision, and the people have looked at both parties and realized that one party is for development, one party is for decency, respect, and moving Jamaica forward. And one party is for chaos, lies, and misinformation and disinformation. And I think the majority of Jamaicans want a country that reflects a positive ethos, a positive ideal, a prosperous ideal. Murders is down 44%, unemployment is at a record low of 3.8%. We have never done so many roads in the history of Jamaica, so many roads have not been fixed. Some have been patched, some have been overlaid. We have the Spark program. We have the perimeter road, which we started paving today. We have the South Coast Highway Improvement, which we broke ground for the Port Antonio bypass. We have the Williams Street bypass. We're going to be doing the Miami Bay bypass soon. We're going to be doing the Lucy bypass. We're going to be doing the Spurtree bypass. We're going to extend the South Coast Highway up to past Black River, all the way to the border of Westmoreland. We have never been able to do so much work as a government because previous governments have squandered the money of the people. So when was the last time you hear a minister go to parliament and say the IMF says or the IMF says or the IMF says or we have to raise taxes in order to pay for this? Or I mean, things are not perfect, you know. We still need to build more hospitals like we're building in St. James and improving the hospitals in Clarendon, and we're going to build a new KPH. But at the end of the day, Jamaicans are better off today than they were in 2016. In 2016,
yeah. And despite this plethora of performance, Minister, the party is still locked in a dead heat with the opposition. How do you explain that?
I mean, it's a third term. Third term is a very difficult thing to achieve. Your government has been there for 10 years. There are many people who have benefited but want to benefit more. There are things that you would have probably tried to do and not done them well. So there are going to be some people who say or who think about taking a risk, taking a gamble. But I would suggest to them that you don't have to gamble with this government. You know what you're getting, right? Gambling is a risk that you don't have to take because the odds are against you. So what I would say to you is that so in 2016,
yes,
we won North Central by 500 votes, thereabout. In 2011, we would have won it by 1,800 votes. And we fell to 500 and odd votes in 2016. The PNP division, which is the Chapelton division, when I say PNP division, I don't mean it's really a PNP division, but the PNP usually has a strong turnout in Chapelton. We would have won it by 17 in 2016. In 2020, we won the seat by about 1,600 votes and won Chapelton by 500. Based on what we're seeing on the ground in North Central, we're going to be doing very well. And based on what I'm seeing in other constituencies across the island, I say to people, the JLP has 15 roads to take to victory. The PNP has only one, right? And it's going to be very difficult for them to overcome a 49-seat majority, especially from a government that is performing.
I think the PNP themselves have acknowledged that. The question I'd like you to zero in on, though, Minister, is the voter support in Jamaica now. You have said it is a third term phenomenon, but in comparing this government to previous, it really is impressive. And I'm having a little difficulty to understand why is it that it has not translated into greater voter support.
I don't think it's a matter of not translating, but you have to make a choice as a government. We could have suspended the government and suspended the work that we're doing as ministers and gone head to head with Mark Golding and Leighton Campbell for the last 3 years and shut the country down to start war with them on every platform. Because they've been campaigning for the past 4 years. They've been campaigning on illicit enrichment. They've been campaigning on corruption. They were campaigning on crime. They were campaigning on roads. They were campaigning on every God Almighty thing, right? And so they have spent the last 3 years campaigning against the government. We have spent the last 4 years building Jamaica. We made a choice. We made a choice to choose Jamaica. The PNP made a choice to choose politics, which is what always happens. It happened in 1989. Edward Seaga could have taken the zinc and used it for politics and distribute it to the people. He said, no, we're not distributing the zinc until after the election. After the election, them dumped the zinc into the sea. He chose Jamaica, they chose politics, right? And I think that's the difference between the supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. So I always say to people, if you go and poll my constituency at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, you're probably not going to find a lot of Labourites to poll. They're at work. They either gone to them bush to plant them thing, or they gone to tend them animals or whatever.
What thing that Mr. Minister? What thing? What thing them a plant up?
The plant yam and banana.
Yeah, all right. Yam and potato.
And those things. But I'm saying to you that when pollsters come into my constituency in the middle of the day, who is at home in the middle of the day? Think about it. Right? The Jamaica Labour Party represents the progressive element of Jamaica. We represent the people who go to work, the women who go to the free zone back in the 1980s, the women who are going to the BPO now, the tourism workers, the police who have received double, triple digit increase in some cases, the teachers who have received increases, right? Those are our people. We're not the party of idlers. We're not the party of propaganda and lies.
Okay, Miss. I see where the party yesterday launched this solidarity program. Minister, there is in Jamaica, I think you would agree, a certain misery index. Some people call it cost of living, some standard of living. That, by the way, do you think, Minister Morgan, that the party has raised expectations beyond where it has been able to deliver?
I think that's a good thing to raise expectations. I think we have raised expectations significantly.
And have you delivered?
Some people have a higher expectation of the JLP government than they have of anybody else. We have delivered a significant amount of the expectations. For example, a 50% drop in absolute poverty in Jamaica has never happened before, right? You see, when we're arguing, I'm not arguing with you based on how I feel. I'm arguing with you based on the facts and the data. Because both of us can feel however we want to feel, but the facts cannot be challenged. For example, 50% reduction in poverty. That cannot be challenged. That's a fact. The same people who measure poverty in the 1995, 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015 are the same people who measure poverty in 2025, 2024. A 50% drop in poverty. The same people who measure a 44% drop in murder rate is the same people who measured it before. The same people who measure a 3%, 4% unemployment rate are the same people who measured it before. By any objective analysis, the Jamaica Labour Party has fulfilled the expectations and exceeded the expectations of a lot of Jamaicans. But the more you exceed expectation is the more you build expectation. So if I build out a road in one section of the scheme, the other members of the scheme who have bad road are going to expect their road to be fixed. And they're going to demand, so why is it that you fix that road around there, so Susan Avenue in Portmore, and then you don't fix the next one?
Yes.
But our duty and your roads will be fixed eventually, because we're going to be fixing 600 roads over the next year and a half.
So something is wrong with how you have communicated then, Minister. Because
communication, if you communicate and one person doesn't understand what you're saying, then you have not communicated effectively. Because the objective of communication is to communicate in such a way where every single person who is hearing or wants to hear can hear and understand. You are never perfect in government. You're never perfect in communication. What you're trying to be is you're trying to win a majority of persons to your side. Right? Somebody says, why don't we point out corruption? The fact of the matter is, and we're not arguing or debating, that our corruption score by Transparency International is better than any other government in the history of Jamaica. It is far better than the government that served between 2012 and 2016. This is not my opinion. This is Transparency International opinion. So when you hear people talk about, oh, corruption, this is the only government that has asked ministers to resign. Cohen Spencer never resigned. Philip Powell never resigned. Right? And I'm being very careful how I say it because I don't want to end up somewhere else. The fact of the matter is, whenever issues have occurred in this government, ministers have taken account. We never had any accountability for Salutria. We never had any accountability for Operation Pride. We never had any accountability for NSWMA scandal. We didn't have any accountability for the wall, the unfinished wall around Eros Circle that we paid 150 million Jamaican dollars for. So the point I'm trying to make to you is that in every measure that you are looking at, and I'm not speaking about my opinion, this is not what I say. This is what a man come from foreign the other day and came to the expo of the police and commended the police and saying, listen, the entire Caribbean is looking at Jamaica as an example of how to reduce crime, right? So, I mean, we have a lot of work to do in terms of convincing more people as to the goodness of the Jamaica Labour Party, but based on what I have seen, neighbor, the PNP has moved. If you're listening to that and listen, they were 10 points ahead. Now they're 3 points ahead. That sounds like momentum to me. Remember the same thing happened in 2016. Quite. 2016, they were way ahead, and then 2 weeks before the election, you hear it was neck and neck.
Yes. Minister Morgan, there is no question that the opposition is pitching its argument to a particular demographic. And I think they have gotten reasonable response. There are many people in Jamaica listening to you that will still say that after 9 years, their lives have not significantly improved. How do you respond to them? They are concerned about their own economic position. Within this prosperity aura that you have created in the country, you have given people the impression that, it's prosperity time. But speak to those people.
Can I give you an example? A police officer came to me a couple months ago and said to me that he's not earning more than he was before the salary increase. I said to him, how come? He said, well, he just not earn no more, so the government not do nothing for him. So I said, how you afford that car there? He said, that not nothing to do with the government, that loan me take and buy my car. So I said, so why you never buy the car before you get the salary increase? Him silent. There are a lot of people in Jamaica, neighbor, who refuse to be honest about
they don't credit the government for their success.
Yes. They refuse to be honest about the benefits they have gotten because of the efforts of the government. A man is honest with you. Him get an NHC house, it's not the government now, nothing to do with it. Him taking loan. But he don't realize that it is the government that created the environment of low interest rate so that you could get a benefit from NHT.
Absolutely.
And get and that's one of the things, and there's a thing in Jamaica, that causes a lot of Jamaicans to not want to broadcast their success. If you go downtown in Christmas and you go to a businessman and you say, oh, business is the worst Christmas in the history. Because a lot of us are afraid of telling our friends and family and our neighbors that we're doing better. Because the government may get credit. No, not just because the government may get credit. A lot of us don't want our families to know that we got a salary increase. And that is the reality. A lot of us don't want our spouses and our baby mothers to know that we're earning more money. Right? I know of situations where the spouse don't want the other spouse to know so that the salary increased by 50%.
Yes.
Right? And those are some of the issues. But to take fun and joke aside, Jamaicans on balance have, over the last 10 years, their life outcomes have been better. Let's just use a simple example, neighbor. Before 2019, 2020, if you wanted to go to Hart, you had to pay. Now you can go to Hart and study to be a plumber, a mason, an electrician, or something else, and you don't have to pay. Hart is training over 20,000 young people who now do not have to pay to go to Hart, right? Last year, we gave $3 million to each constituency to help tertiary students go to college.
What you saying to me?
That $3 million never existed before.
To each constituency, sir?
Each constituency got $3 million to help tertiary students pay their school fee. Before a year, 2 years ago, if you wanted a student loan, you had to get 2 guarantor and then 1 guarantor, and then our government removed guarantor totally. Every university student who wants, or college student who wants a student loan now doesn't have to get a guarantor. Tell me that they're not better off without a guarantor.
Yes,
right?
you know, Minister Adam Simit spoke of the poverty of aspirations, and I think when you look at many people, sir, when you are in a situation, and especially when your environment has been like that for many years, it does take you a little time to appreciate progress on the outside, you know. I want you to speak to the common man, though, Mr. Morgan. You are a cabinet minister. You sit in the very highest office, not individually, but around a cabinet table every Monday morning. What is the next 5 years going to look like for Jamaica?
Every time the Jamaica Labour Party lays a firm foundation for Jamaica to take off, they lose the opportunity.
Oh my!
In 1970,
you worried that you may lose it this time again?
I'm not worried about it, but I'm very concerned.
There is a bit of anxiety,
There are some Jamaicans who do not believe in the vision.
This is
I'm confident that we're gonna get it, but I want everybody on the boat. I don't want to leave some people on the island.
Yes.
In 1972, Jamaica was growing at 12%.
Just a second, Mr. Morgan, because what you're about to say here is fundamental. Jamaica girl, can you just ask the people to share this live a little bit more? Let's try and see if we can get 400 people listening at this time. The minister is about to say something that is absolutely fundamental, and I think it is very, 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 very important. He's giving the aspiration. We want to understand what 5 more years under the Jamaica Labour Party is going to look like, and just maybe what 5 years under a PNP administration may look like. You have to share this live at this time. Let's try and get this number up to at least 350 before the minister continues. I think it is just that important that we have this question, because you know I have expressed the same anxiety, and there is a growing anxiety. I realized on Tuesday when that poll came out that people were kind of worried. Nothing to be worried about really, but we need to we need to get this all sorted out.
But you're ringing it up, neighbor man. You're ringing it up. It moved from 280 to 360.
Yes, we can do that. You know, we can ring it. We can turn it on anytime. Give us 15 seconds. Jamaica girl is good at that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to 400. All right, listeners, and please remember the taps. Let's go to 100 so that the algorithm goes up more. Okay. Tap the striking screen. All right. Remember, we have KC here, and he's online. He's taking a little break for the minister to chat with us a little bit. All right. right, Minister, let's not waste any more time. Well, we're not wasting time really, but interesting and importantly, Minister, the aspirations of Jamaicans. I want you to speak to that. The Labour Party, you are saying, should continue in government, and you are going back into history to tell us. Go ahead,
Let's
sir.
talk about it. In 1972, before I was born, was the first time the JLP had the opportunity to serve a third term. And respect Mulvin. And we were growing at 12% in 1972. We've never grown at 12% since 1972, ever. Right? Meaning that the economy was booming. Singapore came to Jamaica to study what we were doing and to find out how is it that Jamaica, a little island in the Caribbean, was doing so well.
Yes.
We decided to abandon that path and pursue democratic socialism. And everybody knows when rice and sanitary napkins used to get married together in the supermarket. Yes. Right? So I don't need to go into the details of that.
Well, so Minister Morgan, there are several persons heading to the polls in a couple months or in a couple weeks' time that don't know that history. But time is not going to allow you to go there. Eh?
Time won't allow us to talk about the devastation of the 70s. And then you had in the 80s where we had the worst violence in an election period. Over 800 persons were murdered in 1980. And we were able to pull back Jamaica in the 1980s. And we were devastated by a hurricane in 1989. And we were commended globally for the recovery from Hurricane Gilbert, which destroyed Jamaica. This was the second time in history that the Jamaica Labour Party had an opportunity to get a third term. And after the JLP lost, we know what happened. We know that the foreign exchange rate ran away. We know that the murder rate ran away to the point where we became murder capital of the world. We know that FinSac happened where over 40,000 businesses were destroyed. We know that we had almost 100 scandals between 1989 and 2007 by the PJ Patterson administration. And I don't need to list the scandals.
Yes.
That's why Jamaica had a poor scandal rating while under the PJ government.
Is that why you banned scandal back, sir?
I'm not going to get another problem there. The last Labour right who talk about scandal, but I'm getting a big problem anyway.
Yeah, man, leave that alone.
So, Prime Minister Holness would have come in 2016 and he would have promised the people prosperity. He would have promised the people that he would reduce crime. He would reduce. He formed a ministry called the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and they laughed at him, saying that is a big ministry, super ministry for nothing. Well, the same Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation has resulted in a record low unemployment rate never before seen in Jamaica. The Ministry of National
250,000 new jobs, I understand, sir.
Yes. The same Ministry of National Security, they laughed at Dr. Horace Chang, saying he's the sleeping minister. He's now presiding over a 44% reduction in murders, right? What is it that the people can expect going forward?
Yes,
the people can expect lower murder rates. The people can expect lower unemployment rates. The people can expect more money in people's pocket. Just launched a solidarity program for a lot of persons who don't have them TRN, who never benefit from any program before, a lot of young nursing mothers, right? $1 billion directly at the reverse income tax situation where we gave out money to people. This is not our money in a neighbor. This is, when was the last time, which government in the history of Jamaica has given back so much money to the people? When we said we were going to do 1.5, they said it was impossible. They said it was not going to work.
Yes.
Right? And we did the 1.5. Mr. Matalan was on TV saying that the 1.5, Mr. Matalan, who is now in charge of one of the largest media houses in Jamaica, said the 1.5 would not work. And it worked. So when you ask me, what are we going to do? You can see what we're going to do. We just broke ground for the Port Antonio bypass. right? You see, we're paving the perimeter road in Montego Bay to reduce the traffic on Howard Cook Boulevard. So people, when they go in Hanover, don't have to drive through Howard Cook and spend 2 hours on the road. You hear about what we're going to do with the Miami Bay bypass to extend the North-South Highway. You've heard about what we're going to do with the Spurtree Hill bypass. You've seen the new Children's Hospital in Montego Bay. You've seen the renovation of the Cornwall Hospital, which they could have renovated and they didn't. You've heard about the new KPH that we're going to build. You've heard about the improvements that we're going to make to the Bustamante Children's Hospital and the clinics all around the island and the 100 and odd police stations that we have renovated since we have been in power. Almost 150 police stations have been renovated, some of which have never been renovated for 30 years. So when people ask, what is it that the government is going to do? I love achievements, you know. Every time I walk on a Spark Road, I feel good because I can go and boast to my colleagues. I can boast to Darrell and say, well, how much bus you bring in? Me just fix 20 Spark Road, beat me. Do this and beat me. Because we have a competition in cabinet, you know, who can get the more achievements? Who can fix more road? Who can bring in more bus? Who can build more clinic? Who can reduce the backlog in the courts? Who can give more benefits through the Ministry of Labour? So all of us in cabinet are saying to ourselves, what can we do to make the lives of people in Jamaica better?
What you're saying, Minister, is that a vote for the Jamaica Labour Party is a vote to continue the various projects and programs and the good performance of the government. That's what you're saying.
Is a vote to continue the development and improvement of the lives of the people of Jamaica.
Great. Minister Morgan.
Neighbor, are you still here?
No, and I'm still here. Are you hearing me, sir? Are you hearing
me? I'm hearing you well.
Yes, okay. I beg you, sir, I have 2 more questions for you. The first one is I want you to place the performance of the government in context for me, because there was a period over the last 5 years or so where we had the COVID-19 pandemic. Had it not been for that, Minister, give me an idea of how further ahead we would be.
It's not just COVID, neighbor. Remember, yes, we had COVID where 100,000 people lost their jobs in the tourism sector because there was no tourists coming in Jamaica. Hotels were closed down. The farmers in St. Elizabeth could not sell anything. They had to give away and throw away a lot of their produce. COVID ripped through the Jamaican economy, the worst pandemic in the history of mankind since modern times. But don't forget, we had Beryl last year, July.
Yes.
We're approaching the anniversary.
And you had the PNP.
Let me ask a question, neighbor. If you look around 1 year ago?
Well, you know, sir, this is why I'm asking you to contextualize the performance.
What I'm saying is that our ability to bounce back as a government is a testament to the resilience of the Jamaican people.
Yes.
Right? The fact is we never had to borrow any money to recover from COVID or Beryl.
Yes.
Because we had some savings in our bank account when we went into power in 2007 and we had the 2008 economic crisis. There was no saving in the bank account.
Yes.
So when hard times hit us between 2008 and 2010, the country was devastated. Remember, COVID came and we never fired one civil servant, you know?
Yes. Yes,
we
that's
never
true.
fired one police, we never fired one doctor, we never fired one soldier. And we were able to give hairdresser money, taxi man money, barber man get money, tourism worker get money. You could have go and sign up for a care grant. We were able to give away hundreds of thousands of food packages. People don't remember in COVID.
Well, you're reminding them now.
Remember, there are people in South St. Elizabeth and South Manchester who got between, some of them got $40,000 checks, some of them got $100,000 checks, some of them got $300,000 checks. Right?
By the way, Minister, the road that I live on, I I mash up 3 cars in a 1 year. How it bad? But that's another.
It's so deal with, man. Don't worry about it. It's so deal. What I'm
You
trying
can't help me with one tire, sir. I mean, I must tire every day. Anyway,
what I'm trying to say to your neighbor, what I'm trying to say to your neighbor is this. If you listen to the campaign of the opposition, they have not presented anything to the Jamaican people to give them an idea of how their lives are going to improve over the next 5 years.
Did they present anything in 1989, sir?
No, they never did. All them say they logged on to the suffering of the people of Jamaica, because the people of Jamaica coming out of a hurricane were suffering.
Yes. All right. So how you carry the people along with you now, Minister?
You carry the people.
How we carry the people along with us? Because leadership is not so much about what you are doing, but how you are able to inspire people along this journey, so they believe in it and understand the aspiration that if they stay the course, they will find that things for them are better. How you plan to carry them along?
No other government in the history of Jamaica has seen a 44% reduction in murders. No other government has seen so many people employed ever. No other government has given public sector workers such a significant increase. Remember, there are many public sector workers who could not afford to buy an NHT house. Now we have an influx of public sector workers who are not only buying NHT houses, but are buying houses on the private sector. When I go into some schools and police stations right now, I can't even find a place to park because every police have a car and every teacher have a car. And that might sound very simplistic, but the teachers and the police and the citizens of Jamaica deserve the good things that they have gotten over the last 10 years from this government, a government that cares about them. And that's the most important thing. You would never hear a Jamaica Labour Party minister go on a platform and disrespect a public servant and threaten a public servant. Like what Dayton did to Paula Llewellyn. You will never hear Prime Minister threaten to get rid of a person like Dennis Strong, who all we like. Remember when PNP in a power we like Dennis, when JLP in a power we like Dennis, because Dennis is one of the men who will come on the radio and give his opinion, and you're not going to say Labour right, I'm a PNP, and all of a sudden
that's the nasty part of the politics.
Of the opposition is telling a Jamaican that if him come into power, you are going to lose your work. Right? I have never seen in the history of Jamaica. Andrew make a little one comment about the media down at Tivoli a couple of years ago, and everybody turned on panic. And almost every time this leader of the opposition talk, he might attack the media. He might attack Cliff Hughes, he might attack George Davis, he might attack other radio station, other TV station, and other journalists. So the type of politics that is being practiced by the PNP is a different brand of politics than what is being practiced by the Jamaica Labour Party. It is the type of politics where a man can go on stage and say, the lady will only think she will go, the furthest she will go is Mrs. Vaz. Right? It's the type of politics where a man is focused on the fact that the Prime Minister, who has run several businesses in his life, have bank accounts. Them can't say him thief no money, because them not have no evidence say him thief no money. But the fact say a black man from Spanish Town could have owned X amount of bank account when them friend own all 100 bank account and have trust fund all over the world and don't pay tax on them trust fund in Jamaica. They will never talk to you about that. But labor rights and the Labour Party leaders are not supposed to aspire to the Jamaican dream.
Okay.
Right.
Minister, what type of leader is Andrew Holness? You sit with him in cabinet. You've been around him. We just look at things from the outside. Tell us a little bit about Holness. Holness' character, his leadership ability, his intelligence, his person. Who is this man?
He's a very conciliatory person, meaning he's always seeking to bring people together. If you go on the road with him, you'll see even PNP will come to Prime Minister and say, boy, Andrew, we love you, but we not vote for you. Yes. Right? He's also a very contemplative individual. He thinks a lot about what he's doing. He thinks about his decisions before he implements them. He believes in young people. If you look at the cabinet, Matissa Moda, Colonel Charles Jr., Dana Morris Dixon,
yourself,
Lloyd Green, myself, we are people who never come from any great economic power. But the Prime Minister looked at us and said, these young people have potential. Let me see how I can mold them and groom them. If you look at how he has managed, he has been able to identify some superstars in the government.
Yes, he just brought in another one.
Nigel Clark, Dana Morris Dixon, ambassador, yes. Recent ambassador from the United States, who is now going to win in Manchester, right? And the ability to, so he's not a leader who is afraid of people who may be intellectually strong. He's a leader who borrows and depends on the input of persons from all walks of life to improve the government, because I think he recognizes that in order to build Jamaica, you need all Jamaicans to build Jamaica. So if I was supposed to cover everything with Andrew Holness, I would say that Andrew Holness is not just a motivator, he's also an inspiration, and he's also an actor.
You think he's an inspirational leader? You see him as an... Yes?
If you know where Andrew Holness is coming from, you have to be inspired. And the fact that Andrew Holness was able to run this country and reduce the murder rate and increase employment and do a PhD at the same time, you ask yourself, where did he get the time to do it? If you look at the Prime Minister was at Carib Cement this morning. Then the Prime Minister went all the way to Portland to do groundbreaking, and now I hear he's in somewhere in St. Andrew doing some work, right? The man is on the road every single day, meeting Jamaicans and showing Jamaicans the fruit of their labor that this government has produced.
Yes. So I hear that the Prime Minister at Cabinet is able to cover any topic that you raise. Is that true?
He knows about the Ministry of Works than I do. And he can speak on any matter that is there, because the depth of his reasoning and understanding of the issues that are affecting this country is very profound.
Yes.
Right? And you want a leader who you can go to for advice. Whenever I have a challenge in the ministry, I know that I can call the leader and I can say, leader, this is what is happening. And the leader will have a fundamental understanding. He's not going to boof you or anything like that. He's going to be very instructive and deliberative in his advice to you, and you can leave from a conversation with him with a better understanding of not only what you need to do, but also the vision that encompasses what the government wants to do, which is going to inform your actions as well.
Yes. You know, I made a point earlier that the man we see on television in the nice suits is the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the most honorable Andrew Michael Holness. But the man on the ground for Jamaicans is Andrew. Is one of we. Is and
that's what is important, because when I'm in my constituency, I'm not Minister Morgan.
Yes,
I am Nesta.
Nesta.
Right? And you see, when I'm on TV or I'm on the radio or I'm on a board meeting and thing, I have to maintain a particular level of decorum. And
you're a minister, right?
Because I'm a minister. But when you go among your people, remember, it's not your constituency, It's not voters, it's your people. You are their servant. You represent them. You have to come back and stand up beside them and explain to them what you have done on their behalf. So they're going to refer to you in their most comfortable language. And when Prime Minister goes on the road, is Brogan or Andrew. And it's not a sign of disrespect, it's actually a sign of great respect. Because for you to feel so
Absolutely
comfortable with somebody,
yes,
that you know them on a first name basis. When people call you by your first name, the most people will like you and will know you.
Yes, you have to be affectionately involved with the person. To do.
So when he's on the road, I mean, I've seen it, and it's like a magnetism. Like when I went to Portland with him today, and when I was in Portmore with him yesterday, one of the biggest, he's most popular among the children.
Yes.
Every one of this.
And the girls, sir.
Well, I'm not getting involved with that conversation.
That's what the poll said. That's what the
I'm advising you that he is very popular among the children.
I'm quoting the polls, you know, sir.
The poll said the women love him. The poll said the Prime Minister is very popular in several demographics.
Yeah, among women. Among women he is. Why you
young
nothing wrong with that, sir. They say is the girl's bubble gum.
Right. But I'm saying to you that why I do not believe that his opponent will be successful. I'm going to say this before I leave. The only place where the less popular become leaders is in dictatorships.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister has a 7-point lead based on their own pollster. Remember, this is a PNP pollster, you know. Their own pollster.
You know, Minister, I heard Dr. Campbell saying that it is an independent poll. Is Dr. Campbell for real?
How many polls has Don Anderson done for the PNP in the last 3 years?
Yes.
So the fact that
why has the Labour Party not responded to these type of absurdities, sir? An independent.
Because sometimes if you start a conversation with mad people, you're gonna be mad too, you know. So you can go down half a tree.
Be an independent pollster. Huh?
Mister, you need neighbor. If you want to explain what you just asked me, go to half a tree and find a madman and try to have a conversation with him.
Well,
the point I'm trying to make is this. If I'm 7% more popular than you, and people are gonna vote, because elections are a popularity contest.
It is.
People are gonna vote on who they like the most. How can somebody who is less popular win? Think about it.
I should send you the neighbor's notes. I should send you the neighbor's notes that I did this afternoon, because the fact of the matter is that historically in Jamaica, we vote largely for parties and leaders.
Right.
And
we've been in the history of Jamaica since 1962. Jamaicans have never voted for a leader who is less popular than the other one.
Never, sir. That's quite true.
Buster was the most popular people vote for him. In 1972.
And Holness is 9 points ahead.
Right.
According to NNN, and 7 points ahead according to Don Anderson. The results of the elections seem pretty obvious.
In 80, Siaga was more popular than Manley. Siaga win. 89, Manley became more popular than Siaga. Manley win. In the 90s and the early 2000s, PJ was more popular than
Siaga. Noting the neighbors' notes today that I suspect, just by perception and intuition, that Holness' popularity over the next 3 weeks or 4 is probably going to double.
Yeah, because if you've been campaigning for 4 years on the ground, and me and you and I have not been campaigning, what it's gonna tell you is that when I start campaigning, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, you see this Prime Minister that people have looked at, and remember, when you are governing, you know, sir, there are certain things that you have to do that may not benefit the country immediately. And I heard the Prime Minister made that point, that there are certain things that the government is doing now. You know this as a cabinet minister, that the people will not see the benefit, you know, maybe in the years to come.
I can give you a good example.
Yes.
When I became MP, they had started the Chapelton Hospital, but they had run out of money.
Oh.
And I became MP in 2020 and the work stopped, and it took me over a year to get it start back. And people were complaining, saying, oh, as him when the hospital locked down, we now get the hospital. And thank God we found $350 million to finish the hospital in 2022. Remember, this is a hospital that started in 2019, you know, and it took us 4 years to finish it. And a lot of the work, we announced the Portland bypass in 2018. You hear me say?
Yes, sir.
We announced the Portland bypass in 2018. We are breaking ground for the Portland bypass now. We announced the Morant Bay Urban Center in 2017. We just finished it this year, right? We announced the South Coast Highway Improvement Project in 2016. We're finished now. So one of the things that people have to understand is that the same day that leaf drop in the water, it go rotten.
Absolutely. And it has nothing to do with any election coming up either.
No, because a lot of what we're doing is things that we have spoken about for years and they just come into fruition. You know? So. Remember, you know, before I go, neighbor, you cannot campaign on achievements if you don't have any. Why doesn't the PNP campaign on what they have done?
Well, you know, sir.
Answer the question, neighbor.
To be truthful, the PNP's record in government is not very impressive, you know.
But what I'm saying to your neighbor, I don't want to argue with PNP tonight. I want you to ask them a question. Why are you guys not campaigning on your record?
Sorry, Mr. Morgan, good night. These are the arguments we hold on this platform every time we come on this platform and encounter with PNP supporters. We tend to ask them the same thing that you're asking now. In fact, we have made sure that we kept that question from last year. Why should we swap? Why should we swap what we're seeing now to believe we are hearing? Because we are searching for the track records of success. And we know that the greatest asset to any country are its people. And when we rigorously dig into the PNP's legacy in terms of constituencies that would have pledged their loyalty for more than 3 decades and more to the PNP, but yet the precious commodities were scarce, such as road and water, but water especially in a country that is branded as the land of wood and water. Several constituencies across Jamaica that are surrounded in the abundance of water. Yet water was a scarcity to them. But today, we see where a government is not working magic, but because of good governance, our tax dollars are able to provide people the precious commodity. And Mr. Morgan, in the abundance of water, the Bible said the fool is thirsty. And for too long, the people were allowed themselves to be taken for fools by the PNP. And there are no evidence to show how significantly well the PNP have represented these people in the constituencies that would have pledged their loyalty election in, election out to the PNP. So you are accurate, sir. And I'm glad they hear it from a person in the hierarchy, because we're going to be keeping that question always to every comrade. What are the legacies of the PNP in constituencies? Because if the central government was so good, the people on the ground felt it and having precious commodities such as road and water, sir, etc.
Very good.
Thank you very much, neighbor. I have to run now.
I know you have to leave, so take care of yourself. By the way, can you help me get in touch with Rhoda, sir? I
will tell her that neighbor wants to talk to her.
Yes, I'm from Manchester, you know, sir.
Yeah, man.
And I want to talk to Rhoda. Tell her she's to come here.
You reach 124,000 likes and 307 viewers. I have a system up in front of me. You hear, sir? I can flip the camera. There are 460 persons that have not joined, that are listening. So our viewership now is close to 900. And I want to thank every single one of them.
Yes. So don't joke with this program. Tell Rhoda she must come here.
All right, my friend. Take care of yourself and take care to everybody. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. That was the Minister of Works, Minister Sparks. Is Sparks? Yeah. Minister Sparks, Robert Nestor Morgan. What a fantastic conversation that was with the goodly minister. Thank you so much, Minister. Jamaica girl, I think Casey has dropped off. Yeah, I think this was worthwhile doing. So I don't know if we need to reschedule thank you 1T. Thank you so much. I don't know if we need to reschedule the forecast. We were going to be giving the listeners the seats that the Labour Party are definitely going to be winning. You want to try get back Casey for me, Jamaica girl? I could add extra little time if he could come back. If not, let me know that I could talk to a couple listeners in the meantime. Yep. Great stuff from Minister Morgan and Rhoda Crawford. You better come talk to me because I want to talk to you from Central Manchester. We are going to do a little bit of work down there, yeah? Mr. Morel? Harry? Mr. Morel? Not hearing Mr. Morel. You know, Morel is a big time strategist, big time strategist. He has helped a lot of Labour Party candidates to win their seats. He is one of Jamaica's top strategists. Harry Morel, how are you, sir? He's gone. He's gone. Delroy?
Yes, my neighbor.
That was a fantastic conversation with the minister, sir.
Wonderful conversation indeed, neighbor.
Yes.
I would have expected nothing less when you have a Jamaica Labour Party member of the hierarchy, or even a member within our group. You're always expected to have truth and positive informations being disseminated on your platform.
A very humble and sincere man. He comes across as a very humble and sincere man.
Yes, indeed, neighbor.
Or highfalutin.
Yes, sir.
Neighbor, slowly. Good, me not interpret slowly. You know, my ask to get. Me have to neighbor. I have to Hamilton number can give you. I have to Hamilton number can give you.
Well, tell her to come now. Call her and tell her.
But now me have to text her later.
Text her, yeah.
Me have a number. And
all right.
Yeah, man. But it was a good show, good for listening in Esther Morgan. You see.
Yes, very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting and thing.
Seems like he has a big future.
A bright boy, you know. Him come from the bottom, you know. A struggle, him come from nowhere, no sufferation, you know. Yeah, and the man name Arimor. I wish well on Arimor they say company so. Which constituency him come from?
No man, Harry a big organizer for the party, you know. I don't know why Harry. I've not been able to get Harry to talk to me for quite a while. But Harry is a
but me I text her morning.
Yes.
Me also share this to her on our WhatsApp group.
Yes. Who is that?
Request. Somebody says it.
Eh? Who is that? Oh, all right. Me don't know what's happened to Mark. Yes, the minister is not braggadocious. And you know, these are I bet you said that minister there, Morgan, had a good mother. You know, you hear it in him when him talk, you know. You know, this good upbringing, this decent young man, young, bright, but he's not outside of the reach of the common people. That's it. These are the type of people we want in the politics. Yes, people who can come on a program like this and feel welcome and feel at home and talk to us. You know, good work there, Nesta. But you need to try and help me with my road don't Nesta. My road bad. I need some sparks. Where I live. If you could just help me. And not the cussy type of thing, man. Show me that. Mr. Finley.
Good evening, my neighbor.
How are you doing, sir?
I am doing excellent, man. How are you?
Boy, it's late in the night. Soon time to go to my bed. What's happening?
Well, you know, sir, it's political time, bedtime. We sleep after election.
Well, sir, I have to kind of wake up early, go look for my worms.
No problem, sir. But I believe I need to eat my
If you can arrange to send me, a little thing, then we can talk.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yes.
But I like to eat my bread in a comfortable Jamaica, so that's why we have to put in the work to make sure that the third term is a must. Right? Continuous.
I did ask the minister, and he did admit that, there's a little anxiety building up in Jamaica that is there a possibility that the PNP could win it? Is there a possibility, Chuck?
Neighbor, I will always give you this answer. As long as there's two horses in a race, both of them have a chance.
Yeah, but that is not comforting to labor rights at all, sir. Today I was thinking about endorsing Holness, but I said, let me think about it a little bit more, because Chuck Finley, I've been looking at Holness, the Prime Minister, and I think he's largely underrated.
By Jamaican.
By Jamaican, in terms of his accomplishments, yes, that he has not.
Yes, by Jamaican. The rest of the world have seen his accomplishment. Right?
Yes, that is a
underrated. Let me have a Jamaican.
Yes. Compare Holness. As a matter of fact, that Siaga is the Buster Manti is Buster Party. But apart from Buster, Siaga is the man in the party that, but Holness is right up there, sir.
But Holness is coming from Siaga school.
No, man, I'm talking about in terms of his accomplishments. He's unmatched. He's unmatched, eh?
Yes, unmatched. Right, he's unmatched. In terms of repairing Jamaica, his vision for Jamaica.
Yes, and you know what makes it even more. You know what makes it even more significant, Chuck? And I'm being very unbiased here. Believe me. You know what makes it more significant? One, the Jamaica he got in 2016. Two, the hurricanes he has had to deal with. And three, the COVID-19 pandemic. Chuck, when you put that into context, you would have to agree that Holness has been a damn good Prime Minister.
A damn good leader of the country.
And largely underrated, neighbor, deliberately underrated because of people fearing the Holness legacy. They're afraid of a legacy that cannot be erased out of history nor any archive. And that's what they're afraid of, neighbor. But they can stop it. It is too evident. It is continual. And therefore, I mean, neighbor, the legacy in such a short space of time, it is just too much for some people to fathom, neighbor. And it's causing them to show their bad mind side, their literal bad-minded side. Yes.
Yes, Chuck. You want to expand on that a little bit? That Holness' accomplishments and how he positioned Jamaica is remarkable.
It is, neighbor. In 2020, I'm being given this by credible source that at the first meeting the PNP held after the 2020 election, it was mentioned then that they have to find a way to stop Andrew Holness, not the Jamaica Labour Party, to stop Andrew Holness. And we would have seen that over the last 5 years with the attack that he has come under. Remember now, for the last 5 years, the Jamaica Labour Party has not been under attack, Attack was singled at Andrew Holness. And that man has carried that burden for 5 years and has not faltered one bit. Has put in the work.
How has he been able to remain so focused, Chuck? Because it would have distracted the best of us.
Well, I think as you say about Nesta, I think the same applies to Andrew. Him grow up with good parents.
Oh.
When you grow up with good parents, you're taught that level of humility, that level of humbleness, that level of calmness, that once you know what you are doing is good, let nobody tell you otherwise.
Also, neighbor, he's a prime minister that would have shown that he does not lean on his own understanding. Because when the people makes their request, neighbor, and their demands, he makes sure he tells them that, look, I hear you, and you're not going to expect that after he said that they're just going to go in thin air. Remember the lady in Portland Cottage? He would have assured her that he would have provided her with assistance. And so are the testimonies of several others across the country, neighbor. So he would have shown that, look, it's not all about what Andrew Holness says or feel. He would have shown to us that, look, once we come forward with proper proposals that will benefit us, he, as a prime minister, and the JLP are willing to support it for the betterment of us and the country as a whole.
Neighbor, the story that I always like to tell neighbor is, I remember in 2018, I was doing some work up in I think it's Clarendon constituency, and I met a lady. She lives in a PNP household. The entire yard was a PNP yard, and she said, in all our years supporting politics in Jamaica, the greatest thing she has ever saw was when Andrew Holness was in St. Mary campaigning, roll up in pants foot, stepping out the water, go meet the local old lady. The old lady said, all I want is a bridge so I can cross. And less than a year, now the Prime Minister promised her then that the next time we meet, we'll meet on the bridge. And within less than a year, Andrew Holness was walking across that bridge to meet that lady. The lady said, that is the greatest thing she has seen in politics in all our years supporting it. And that is why fair vote would have gone to Andrew Holness.
Yeah. Chuck, why are Jamaicans? Why do you think Jamaicans should continue with this government and not re-elect the People's National Party? Talk to us about that.
But can I just before you go on to that very important question, can I just say something on Andrew Holness before you go on to that important?
Yes, sir, please.
Andrew Holness, and Chuck will agree with this. Chuck and I know each other. The thing about that always amazed me about Andrew Holness. He's the first prime minister of Jamaica to be younger than me. And what amazed me about Andrew Holness is his understanding of the historical context of today's Jamaican experience. When you hear him talk about things that happened before he was even born, and able to bring it into today and say why it is relevant to what people are experiencing today. That is the first most important thing about Andrew Holness. And I'm highlighting this because the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, the next leader of Jamaica, in my opinion, needs to have the same ability, a historical understanding of where Jamaica is, the Jamaican life experience. That's the first thing. The next important thing, if you go back to Andrew Holness' life, even when he was at St. Catherine High School, he was a leader even from then. So he's a leader. By nature, he's a leader. So he doesn't want some people, neighbor, you know them. Some people just want the position to say that them is prime minister. Some people just want to be the leader to say that they're the leader. But Andrew Holness wants to be prime. He is prime minister. He wants to remain prime minister because he wants Jamaica to be a better place. He is trying to improve Jamaica. So those are the two important characteristics of Andrew that we need to recognize. He has an understanding of the history of the country and why we are where we are, and two, he wants to serve
He wants
the patriotic side, in other words, George. In short, the patriotic side of him as a prime minister. He's not self-centered. He's caring about how well Jamaicans does.
Yes, service oriented.
The patriotism in him. The patriotism that is dying in many of us.
Exactly. He's not selfish. He wants to do it to serve, to improve the country. He genuinely wants Jamaica to be a better place. So he understands where we're coming from, and he wants us to be a better place. And that's what we're seeing. And but before I make somebody else talk, it amazes me how he has transformed the attitudes in the country, neighbor. How he has transformed people. Yes, because people were hopeless. Nothing now go on. Jamaica, we all is going to be poor. Now the vibe in Jamaica is, wait, I can make it too. I can make something of my life in Jamaica. Jamaica can be a first world country. That is new. That's transformational. And it is
what you saying to me, sir?
Due to the vision. Yes, I'm saying people now believe that Jamaica can be a first world country under the leadership of
believe he's now in Jamaica?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yes. Yeah, man, neighbor. And the Prime Minister is also philosophically driven. You can hear him speak of Marcus Garvey perennially in speeches every now and again. He refers to Marcus Garvey and the philosophies of Marcus Garvey in terms of how Marcus Garvey would love to see Jamaica and Jamaicans doing well. He's also a person that is driven by philosophies from great persons such as Marcus Garvey.
What you say to me, sir? George? Hold on there.
Yes, absolutely.
True. He's a true Garveyite neighbor. He's a true Garveyite.
There is a hope on the island, largely driven by Holness, that this can be a first world country.
That Jamaica can be a first world country.
You feel like that, sir?
Philosophy and the vision of Marcus as well, neighbor. That is the vision, and that was the vision of Marcus.
You feel like
it's becoming a reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why you think, neighbor, why you think property value is going up in Jamaica? Why you think prices are going up in Jamaica? People are investing in the country because they say people are investing, bringing their money back, buying places, building places, investing in Jamaica. People more and more believe that Jamaica is a place to grow their families and be prosperous. More and more people are saying that.
Well,
absolutely, confidence has gone up under Holness because of his vision.
Well, sir, that is my goodness. Mr. Finley? Mr. Finley? Mr. Finley, maybe having a drink there, maybe a cup of coffee to keep him.
He's muted.
Yeah, well, I don't know who mute him. We have a little time. We have a little bit more time to go. I was hoping that my sister Rhoda would have joined me before we close, but tomorrow we'll probably he is too tired for this, but we'll join next Thursday. We'll join next Thursday. All right, great. All right.
Neighbor, you know what I want to suggest? You know what I want to suggest still? Maybe after, it's up to you, but I like to suggest maybe after the election is announced, you might want to organize it. But I want to suggest you can do it any way you see fit. Get a panel of PNP and JLP to come on your program. You can select the topic that you want them to discuss, and let them put them case to you as to why people should vote for their party. So, for example, one issue that is outstanding and vexing to me is
that's what we do on a Saturday. That's what we do on a Saturday, sir. Last week Saturday we had Damian Crawford. I think this Saturday we are going to be having Chops Media.
Yeah.
And one other thing we're going to do this Saturday is look at the manifesto of the Jamaica Labour Party. and to see how much of it they would have accomplished. This is a pivotal moment in our history, George. It really is in terms of the choice that we are going to make in the next election. And I have said that there is a little bit of anxiety in Jamaica because a lot of people really want to go forward. I tell you, and I don't know if the People's National Party is committed to this progressive forwardness that we want here. I don't know. They would need to speak to that.
But how do they want to grow the economy? My view is
to flesh out before us the vision that they have.
Yes.
And I don't know why they are being so undemocratic. Well, is undemocratic the right?
Neighbor, come on, let us be real, neighbor, for a minute and get real to ourselves. We understand, say, this PNP is not ready. This PNP has been tested, tried, and sealed. Come on, neighbor, let us be fair, man. Why would we want to hear persons' plan that are destined to disrupt the course that we're already on, that are gaining good fruits? Why would you be interested, neighbor, to hear counter arguments supporting ideas? Why would you want to hear about segregation instead of collaboration? The PNP is not about unification, neighbor. The PNP is about disuniting Jamaica. They're not having a collaborative approach. They're not being a collaborative opposition, even if they have to oppose. Why would you want to test? Why would we want to test and try something we feel already again and again? What are we going to expect as a or should we expect as a different outcome? Come on, neighbor. Neighbor, these people, remember Mr. Morgan said it to your neighbor. Why should we test these people again after people in constituencies would have tested them for 40 years and they would have failed? Neighbor, you want to test them again in 2025? Come on, neighbor. Let them be a part of the team, collaborative way. Not in a divisive way. Don't want to hear them.
People going to vote for them. But people going to vote for them, friend.
The minority. Let me continue along the path. We're not going back, sir.
Let me just get from Casey if he's prepared to continue the forecast. Casey?
Yes, neighbor. Good night.
Yeah. I apologize. I had to take the minister. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, no. I called for the minister.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, thank you. Are you prepared to
asked a question earlier that I didn't get a chance to answer. Let me give you an answer right now. They asked why should Jamaicans re-elect the Jamaica Labour Party for a third term?
Yes, sir.
And I say this to you. Jamaica as a country has been in this exact position on 2 previous occasions. In 1972 and in 1989, where the Jamaica Labour Party would have put in the work, lay the foundation, build the country, and have it at the position where it was ready for growth. On both occasions, the Jamaican people would have seen it fit to vote in the People's National Party. And on both occasions, we would have paid dearly for it.
True.
Dearly for those 2 mistakes. And looking at our history, we are at a position now where we are more informed. We have the information, we have the history to go by, and we hear what the other party has to offer, which is absolutely nothing. A vote for the Jamaica Labour Party in this election is a vote for continuity, a vote for development, a vote for a better Jamaica. And that is why the slogan is choose Jamaica. A vote for the Jamaica Labour Party is a vote for Jamaica. And you can't go wrong with that.
Thank you so much, George?
Yes, sir.
We have to go to the forecast, so you have to stay tuned. You hear?
No problem. That's fine.
Great. All right, Casey?
Yes, neighbor.
We started to look at the safe Labour Party seats, the Politics Plus projection is that these seats are 90% sure wins for the Jamaica Labour Party. We started with Central Clarendon, and we went up to the minister's constituency of North Central, and then we ended at Southeastern Clarendon. You want to continue for me?
Yeah, yes, neighbor.
Tari, are you still there?
Yes, neighbor, I'm still here.
Thank you. Please go ahead, Casey.
Okay, neighbor. So as in Clarendon, we have Central Clarendon, North Central Clarendon, and Southeast Clarendon as safe Jamaica Labour Party seat. And from there, we move on to St. Catherine. Yes. And the parish of St. Catherine have Southwest St. Catherine, which is being represented by Everald Warmington. There's West Central St. Catherine that is being represented by Dr. Christopher Tufton. There is South Central St. Catherine, Dr. Andrew Wheatley. There is Central St. Catherine, Olivia Babsy Grange. And then there's North Eastern St. Catherine, Kerencia Morrison.
None of these seats in St. Catherine will be lost by the party.
No.
With a 90% sure accuracy.
Yes, neighbor.
Tari, can you go the seats over what you have already, please?
All right, so based on what we have so far from KC projections, it's the safest Labour right seats. We have Clarendon Central, represented by Delroy Williams. Clarendon North Central, Minister of Works, Robert Nesta Morgan. Clarendon South East, Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. St. Catherine South West, represented by Mr. Warmington. St. Catherine West Central, represented by the Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton. St. Catherine South Central, represented by Dr. Andrew Wheatley. St. Catherine Central, represented by Minister of Culture herself, Olivia Babsy Grange. And St. Catherine North East, represented by MP Kerencia Morrison.
Fantastic. Where are you going next, KC?
Yes, we go now to St. Anne.
By the way, how many seats are those, Tari?
So right, that would be 8 seats.
8. All right. So we're going to St. Anne now, KC?
Yes, neighbor.
Go ahead.
And if JLP seat in the parish of St. Anne is Northeastern St. Anne, that's represented by none other than Matthew Samuda, the water minister, and Southwest St. Anne, represented by chairman of the JLP Area Council 3, Xavier Main. And that's it for St. Anne as far as safe JLP seat is concerned.
Yes, move right along, Casey.
Yes, and from there, there's Portland Eastern, represented by Anne-Marie Vaz, and Portland Western, represented by Daryl Vaz. And in St. Thomas, we have one safe seat, and that's the Jamaica Labour Party's James Robertson in St.